A very good morning to each and every one of you who is tuned in on the show. This is Good Morning Kenya. As is the usual, we are always pleased that you have chosen to start off your morning with us right here on KBC, where we are broadcasting live from. My name is Vivian Degwa, and today we have a lot in store for you, from politics to what is happening in the world of news, as well as we'll be talking around a conversation on World Engineering Day. Now, World Engineering Day is celebrated every 4th day of March every year since the year 2020, and this time round they will be having a series of events happening. That is the Kenya Institute of Engineers will be having several events happening right here in the country, and I will be having some guests right here in studio as we talk about the Engineering Day and what is to be expected for that particular day. You want to tune in for that, but I am not alone in studio. My colleagues are here, and I will begin with Victor. Victor, good morning.
Good morning. Finally, it's raining in the city and across the country, by the way. So for those who are in their shamba, please, this is a time for you to plow, be ready for the planting season. A blessing, right? Good morning. Welcome to the program. I'm Victor Olo. This is Good Morning Kenya. The 20th day. The week is over. The month is over. So next week is a new month. Just imagine. Just the other day we were celebrating Happy New Year and what have you. So the month is moving pretty fast, and the year as well. All right, so today we want to take a look at what has been happening in the political arena. Today we want to do what we call political buffet. We want to take a look at what has been happening over the past 5 days, and then today the president was in Homa Bay yesterday for the second Homa Bay conference happening there, and yes, he got some good reception. So what's in politics? What's in politics? Is it a handshake? Is it a campaign? We are going to unpack that later on the Viewpoint. So stay with us. Migwi.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning to you too.
Kabisa.
Yes. How are you doing?
You
know, last week we were complaining about the heat and how people cannot sleep. It's too hot. Now mvua imekuja.
Mungu ni nani?
Mungu ni nani? Amecheza kama yeye. Welcome to the program. My name is Mike Migwi, and as usual, the show is packed for you. You want to tune in and find out what we have in store for you. And you can also talk to us through our social media platforms. We are at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter, that is now X, Facebook, and also Instagram. Thank you for making us your #1 choice to start off your day. Right about now, Marie, how are you doing?
I'm well, Mike, and good morning to you all back at home from wherever you're watching us. It's the 28th day of February 2024, and indeed the month is just coming to an end. And in the news this morning, as Victor has already alluded to, I'll be bringing you up to speed with the Homa Bay International Investment Forum, where President Ruto was there to grace the occasion, calling on leaders to focus on service delivery for the people, including the fact that the Social Health Insurance Fund, there's not going to be capitation. That is according to the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Susan Nakhumicha. I'll be bringing you details of that in just a short moment. And right about now, we start with the Homa Bay International Investment Forum, where there were no winners and losers in the last general poll. President William Ruto has said, the president said that instead of leaders dwelling on who won and who lost, all leaders, regardless of their political affiliation, must pull in one direction to ensure service delivery to the people. President Ruto spoke as he opened the second Homa Bay International Investment Forum in Homa Bay County. He said his government is committed to supporting devolution as counties are viable frontiers for real development in the country. Achola Simon begins our bulletin this morning.
President William Ruto pledged the support of his government to devolution, saying devolved units provide a viable development frontier for the country.
Under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the government of Kenya is committed to play its designated role in order to strengthen devolution as a fundamental constitutional mandate, but also because devolved units bring numerous opportunities for rapid economic growth into sharp focus.
In the spirit of our theme, unlocking the bay of endless potential, let us embrace change and innovation in the ever-evolving landscape of investment. As Winston Churchill once said, the pessimist will complain about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, while the realist adjusts the sail.
This International Investment Conference is not merely an envisioning of possibilities, but a testament to the unwavering commitment of our county in fostering economic growth and nurturing innovation across all sectors. The big question here is why Homa Bay, and Meg has done a fantastic job because we are the bay of endless potential. We have a vibrant and stable economy, skilled and dynamic workforce, suitable market access and infrastructure, availability of land for development, ease of doing business, and a supportive legislative and policy environment.
The president hailed efforts put in place by Homa Bay County to position itself as the best investment frontier in the country and promised to ensure the efforts are supported.
Victory Farms has learned that pond color can infer future pond efficiency. So before there is some kind of a biological crash, Victory Farms is able to intervene and maintain top performance. With these advancements, I think the new name for aquaculture will be Fish Tech. And I think Homa Bay can be the fish tech capital of the entire world.
Panga, this is great. As a two-term governor, you're on the right track. You're on the right track. And I want to tell the people of Homa Bay and also to yourself, that kwamba mbele ber.
The president promising to focus on key areas of value addition, increased productivity, and affordable farm inputs to ensure food sufficiency in the country.
Tukubaliane kwanza, transformation ya Kenya itafanyika kwa njia gani? Ya kwanza ni kuhakikisha kwamba tunatatua tatizo la food security, ama kupatikana chakula ya kutosha katika taifa letu la Kenya, tuondoe aibu ya njaa.
The president spoke as he opened the second Homa Bay International Investment Forum in Homa Bay, said despite winning elections, all leaders must pull in one direction.
I told you guys, and you thought it was a joke. Now you can see it is not a joke. Sindio? Niliwaambia tutapanga maneno kabisa na hakuna mtu atakuwa loser kwa hii kitu. Tutapanga ndio kila mtu apate kasehemu kidogo ndio tuende mbele.
Sana tunataka kusonga na hiyo mbele na tunashikana tu sisi vile nimekuambia kila siku. Mzee tuko nyuma yake tu fully like this. We look at him like this, where he's pointing we go, Your Excellency. So hiyo ukimsaidia hiyo, we are very grateful.
We here in Homa Bay are very prayerful. And Mr. President, we continue praying for you. Because as fishermen, we have a saying about the captain of the ship. The captain of a boat in Luo is called Madar. And Madar is called a god. There's something we say that Madar enya such ye. Such that if you wish the captain bad omen, then all of you are going to sink. So we cannot afford to wish you ill because you are the captain of the ship.
Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga will grace the conference on Wednesday.
Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nahumesha has ruled out the possibility of introduction of capping in the contribution to the Social Health Insurance Fund. The CS says that high earners will have to contend with the fact that they have to dig deeper into their pockets in order to help fund the kitty, even as they defended the benefits offered under the new scheme. High earners, led by members of Parliament, had suggested that the highest contribution to the kitty should be capped at 5,000 shillings.
The second day of the validation exercise of the social health insurance regulations, it was time for the Joint Committee on Health to sieve through the regulations. The legislator has taken issue with the 2.75% contribution that will see high earners contribute more.
Because I calculated the money I spent on Arambes on weekends for sick people, I spent almost 200,000. So I would rather pay this 22 if you give us the assurance that nobody will ever put us in any WhatsApp group for Arambe.
From going across the country, from the communities, none has given us a suggestion on capping, because then they are able to see what it is that we are trying to do. If we impact by capping, we will impact on the expected yield. we will compromise the yield. If we compromise the yield, we will go back to the issues that we are facing.
The legislators also poked holes into the provision that requires those with more than one spouse to make additional monthly or annual premium for each additional spouse.
If you treat a household with 2 wives as 2 households, isn't that double jeopardy?
But I think let us go for the definition of the household and recognize polygamy in that sense and say in case of polygamy, every other is a household on its own. Because otherwise you are going to have a problem.
If you pay the extra premium, it will cover the second household. So the children will not pay any other premium. The extra premium is for that household. Whether she has 1 child or 10 children, it doesn't matter.
The ministry was also at pains to explain how 25-year-olds without a source of income, who will be considered as a separate household, will manage to raise the 300 shillings monthly.
Surely, where do you expect this young man to get this money from? And even from your own drafting, by the way, you are clearly telling us he has no income. And you are still insisting he needs to pay 300 shillings.
We have still not come to a conclusion on some of the areas that we are pinpointing. And the purpose is for us to give recommendation and to give our views, so that as we put together the final document, you represent a very, very huge constituency. And that is, those are the members who are going to be affected.
Registration to the Social Health Insurance Fund will begin in the first week of March and will continue for 90 days. Contributions are set to begin on the 1st of July 2024. Amid calls for a review of certain aspects, the Ministry of Health says that it is ready to transition to the Social Health Insurance Fund, with the registration process set to begin in the first week of March.
Thank you, Nancy Okware, for that report. To matters security now, where residents of Yatia in Saimosoi Ward, Baringo North, have fled their homes following the killing of 2 children by armed bandits. The children, aged 11 and 17 years, met their deaths on their way from school when bandits accosted them, killing them on the spot. An unknown number of livestock were also stolen during the attack.
Yatia Saimosoi Ward, Baringo North. Residents with their belongings in tow flee their homes due to insecurity. In the latest incident, bandits struck the area, killing 2 children who were on their way home from school.
Kati ya wale wawili vijana waliopoteza maisha yao jana, mmoja wao alikuwa ni mwanafunzi wangu. Si kwamba fees ilimtoa kwa shule, lakini yeye alipata pasari 7,000 towards the end of last year. So the boy was to come to school and continue. Lakini kwa bahati mbaya alikutana na bandits alafu akawawa.
The latest attack paralyzing learning in 10 schools, including Yatia Primary School, Yatia Secondary School, Romcho Primary, Kosile Primary, Ngaratuko Primary, Kibenos Primary, Chepkesin Primary, Kepngetio, Tuluk, Kagir schools as pupils and parents flee for safety.
Kama sasa tukiwacha, kama tumewacha sasa Parsuswa, tumekuja hapa na Aturu tumewacha, hapa hivi Yatia ndio tunawacha, wanatufuata nyuma tena bado wanatufuata, nini mbaya? Wanatufuata mpaka wapi?
Health facilities remain shut. The locals say they are fearing for their lives, claiming bandits have camped in the area.
Yule mkora alifukuza watu, bado ako na bunduki yake. Hata ukijenga shule, uchenge barabara, uchenge nini na bunduki bado yuko kwa wakora, hiyo ni kupoteza wakati.
Area MCA Michael Cherombor is now calling on the president to intervene. A total of 11 people have been killed by bandits in Baringo North and Baringo South since January.
Mwezi mzima tunaingia tu masisi. Pesa yote ile tunachanga area hii tunakuja kusika. Hakuna maendeleo.
That story was compiled by Irene Mochoma. Now, a multi-sectoral working group on the realization of the two-thirds gender rule is seeking the support of the ODM leader Raila Odinga on the elusive two-thirds gender rule. The team, which was led by Gender Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa, met the former Premier on Tuesday as part of its efforts to reach out to major political players to try and push through the constitutional amendment that will see one gender hold not more than 75%, that is, of elective positions in the National Assembly. President William Ruto presented a memorandum in December 2022 on the need for the gender principle.
Opposition leader Raila Odinga on Tuesday met with Gender Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa and the multi-sectoral working group on the two-thirds gender principle to deliberate on the elusive two-thirds gender rule.
Yale tunataka kuona inafanyika kwa wamama wanakuwa na nafasi sawa na wanaume katika mambo ya uwakilishi.
Being one of the leaders whom we trust in this country, and his contribution to this journey, we are happy that he has given us opportunity.
Says Jumwa said President William Ruto on 9th December 2022 submitted a memorandum to the National Assembly requesting for consideration of a constitutional amendment to enact the not more than two-thirds gender principle. The former Prime Minister held that consensus and collaborative efforts are essential in realizing its implementation that has failed to gain support more than 3 times in Parliament.
Msimu wa sasa tumesema ile sheria ambayo iko katika katiba ya sasa itumike. Lakini ikifika uchaguzi ujao tunataka hiyo sheria ibadilishwe ili wamama wawe wanachaguliwa kwa ile mfumo inaitwa proportional representation.
The group Juma says has carried out reviews on legislative proposals on gender quotas nationally and internationally, and further engage various stakeholders and members of the public throughout the country.
Sasa tumesema ripoti ya NADCO iko mbele ya bunge. Na tunataka hii ripoti ya kina mama iwekwe pamoja na ile ya NADCO. Yes. Ili pitishwe pamoja.
In its final report, the National Dialogue Committee cited the matter to be addressed by the working group. The report is expected to be transmitted to Parliament for consideration.
To county news now, where the spouse to the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, has said her office will engage Kilifi County widows in a mangrove restoration project. Pastor Dorcas said the initiative is one of the empowerment projects that she intends to implement in the coastal region. More in our county news roundup.
Speaking in Gede grounds when she met thousands of local widows, Pastor Dorcas said she has secured an investor who will set up a carbon credit institute in the county of Kilifi to train the widows on entrepreneurial aspect of carbon credit. The project is set to start in a few weeks.
Na tupate nafasi, tunatafuta na nimepata mwekezaji ambaye atafanya carbon Credit Institute ya kuja kuwafunza namna ya kupata credit za kutosha na bei ile nafuu.
Elsewhere, Narok County government and local leaders thronged Nkareta Secondary School, which posted sterling performance in last year's KCSE examinations, to pay their accolades. The school garnered a mean grade of 8.3, marking it the top school in the county.
Lazima tuangalie kwamba hii shule imepata pesa ya kufanya wawe comfortable. I sympathize with the dorms that I saw ambayo vijana wetu wanalala. Nimeona tu though saa ingine tunaambiwa tunapenda wasichana, lakini wote vijana na wasichana ni wetu.
Meanwhile, women representatives in the counties of Kakamega, Kitui, Machakos and Busia have faulted the low level of financial allocation that is directed to their counties.
Tungeomba serikali iongeze pesa ya kina mama.
Mimi ningependa kusaidia wakulima wengi sana, lakini kwa ajili ya pesa kidogo siwezi kusaidia wakulima wengi.
In the meantime, Kiambu County Assembly Committee on Planning has commenced a public participation forum to discuss whether to repeal the law on freehold land levies. Bunge Mashinani, an non-governmental organization, collected more than 12,000 signatures from Kiambu residents opposing the county government from collecting rates from freehold land. Elsewhere, Meru County Deputy Governor Isaac Mutuma appeared before the Meru County Assembly Implementation Committee to shed light on allegations that his office has been denied money to run the office of Meru Deputy Governor. Lastly, police are investigating the death of a middle-aged man in Bungoma, allegedly in the hands of one of their own. The man was allegedly killed by a police officer after he resisted arrest over a sugar row.
Kitengo yetu ya uchunguzi tumepatiana haraka ili kuanze uchunguzi mara moja, na wahusika na ama mhusika aweze kukutana na mkono wa sheria. So sisi tunahakikisha wananchi kwamba kama sheria ukisoma sheria ya Kenya ama ya nchi nasema kwamba hakuna mtu ambaye ako juu ama zaidi ya sheria ya nchi.
And from the counties, we now head to the National Assembly, where the National Assembly Public Investment Committee has issued fresh summons to the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Medical Services, Harry Kimtai. This is after he failed to appear before the committee, which is probing implementation of recommendations from an audit report on the utilization of COVID-19 funds by the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, that is KEMSA. The committee has since directed him to appear before them in 3 weeks' time. Here is our reporter, Abdiaziz Hashim, with the details.
The COVID-19 scandal has once again resurfaced 4 years after it was an agenda before the Public Investment Committee. The committee, in its report following a special audit on the utilization of COVID-19 funds, saw the invitation, among others, the health PS, officials from KEMSA and EACC before the Committee of Implementation. The meeting was to track progress in implementation of recommendations contained in its 196-page report. Key among them, the recommendation was that companies that sold KN95 face masks and surgical masks between March and July 2020 at exorbitant prices return the excess funds to KEMSA.
All suppliers that may have supplied KEMSA at a price higher than that determined prices should refund the government of Kenya the excess payment made to them within a month of such price determination.
However, the absence of the Ministry of Health Principal Secretary did not augur well with the committee.
Principal Secretary hakukuja, na yale maneno tulikuwa tumekuja kuhakikisha ya kwamba yameshughulikiwa, sababu Committee on Implementation's work is to ensure that all the resolutions of Parliament and committees are implemented.
Bring to book all the culprits that were responsible for the loss of 6 billion Kenya shillings of public funds.
EACC, led by the Deputy CEO Abdi Mohamud, was set to unmask the true faces behind the scandal. The Rafael Wanjala-led committee has since directed the PS to appear before the committee on the 19th of March.
Now that these officers, whom we know they are supposed to be answerable, did not come but they delegated, we have said no. And we have issued summons. Failure for them to come, each one of them will pay, those who have failed to come will pay a fine of 500,000 or 6 months in prison.
We are in the year 2024. This matter has not been concluded. We have said today that the Committee on Implementation sitting here has the powers similar to that of the High Court to call witnesses, to summon witnesses and examine them on oath.
Business now, where a school in Siaya County is implementing lessons from the competency-based curriculum by initiating a project of beautifying its compound with fruits and vegetables in place of flowers. Here is Felis Kio with the details.
The Ugole Primary and Junior Secondary School has come up with the best practices that will ensure that the food chain is not interrupted. According to Ugolwe head teacher George Odhiambo Ongalo, the school occasionally sells the vegetables whenever they harvest surplus, with the proceeds used to purchase items for the school feeding program.
They get the vegetables from the farm. Whatever proceeds I get once the proceeds are sold, I used to subsidize. So even now, from January up to this moment, the teachers have been feeding on lunch. They have been on lunch program and tea program at no cost.
The teacher in charge of the project, Francis Ochieng Oduor, says that the project, which was started in October 2023, was mooted out of the desire to produce more food. However, the shift does not mean the school does not have flowers. Currently, hibiscus is grown both as a flower and for making juice. The project at the school has inspired parents and residents in the area to embrace farming.
The program aimed at ensuring that we don't spend much money in food production. So they trained us on how to make food, maintain them organically without using fertilizers. So when you move around the school, among the plants that we planted are also some that are used to scare away pests. They're acting as pesticides in the school compound.
We also have Artemisia plants. They're still down in the soil. That one is used to control malaria. So maybe in the near future, our learners will not have any problems with malaria because we'll be giving them that. Back to the village, our parents have done the same. They have Artemisia, they have everything that we have here. That is what they have there. So maybe when you talk to them, they'll tell you more about it.
To sports now, where the GSU Inter-Companies Volleyball Championship sparked off on Tuesday at the Embakasi B training campus with several matches on the card. GSU headquarters company men registered exemplary results when they drubbed X-Ray Company and Bravo Company by 3 straight sets in their opening matches. Headquarters company ladies made it a double victory when they outshone Embakasi B campus by a similar margin.
The headquarters company thrashed X-Ray 3-0 in their first game of the Inter-Company GSU Volleyball Championship before they went on to beat Bravo in similar fashion in their second match of the 4-day championship. In other men's matches, Golf Company defeated Sierra Company by 3 straight sets, while Alpha overcame Kilo by 3-1. India defeated Tango by 3 straight sets. Headquarters now top Group B and will face the Whiskey and Lima companies tomorrow.
We are having inter-companies, which are GSU companies volleyball. It is organized by the GSU fraternity for the benefit of officers.
In the ladies category, headquarters carried on their unit's winning ways when they outshone Embakasi B by 3-0, while in other matches, Romeo Company ladies defeated Golf by the same margin.
It helps police officer to keep fit. It also brings an interaction because it brings officers from different parts of the country. So we interact, and in a way we do community policing. At the same time, is a way of curbing mental health.
The 4-day event has attracted over 20 companies from different parts of the country, with the final set for Friday at the GSU headquarters in Ruaraka. The main aim of the championship is to unite the servicemen and women and promote a healthy living.
But this time we are incorporating all the companies. The commandant has ensured that he brings all of you. For the reason, this is one way of sustaining mental health, bringing you together, interact, talk to each other, communicate, and also to feel great, to feel that you're appreciated.
That story by Emmanuel Ndongo brings us to the end of the news this morning. Thank you so much for your company. Victor Law will be back in just a short moment with more in the show. My name is Marie Yambo.
How do you say welcome in your language?
No. So today we're making egusi soup with goat's meat.
As we allow our egusi to boil, you said it's going to take about 5 minutes. And it's looking so good. I love the color from the palm oil.
We're practically done in mixing it.
Right. Eunice, thank you so much for coming all the way and teaching us how to make egusi soup, the traditional Igbo way. I love it.
Habari njema kutoka redio yako pendwa ya Ingo FM kwa wakazi na mashabiki wa Bungoma. Sasa Ingo FM inasikika Ingo Bungoma kupitia masafa ya 103.5 FM. Sikiliza na uchangie, burudika ukifurahia uhondo wa kipekee kwa lugha ya nyumbani.
Awamu ya Baragawi CC, natural sweetness.
Kadhalika, tegea Ingo FM ukiwa maeneo ya Kakamega, Busia, Vihiga na Trans Nzoia kupitia 101.5 FM.
Isenikoli omwana wa kwendo mkhana wa imoni dalano mbonyala kunanga KK.
Ingo FM, ininginingi yemuitala.
That belongs to your sister's husband.
In the past, a forbidden passion marred a family's life. A passion that thrills, fascinates.
I love you more.
Hurts.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
Oh, all right.
Confuses. I thought you're not going to come.
And breaks.
Why?
In the present, the seed of that passion repeats the story.
I'm marrying your sister on Saturday.
Nora, an envious, selfish woman who feels less than her sister Lucia, wants everything she has. Jealousy.
Just stop imagining things.
Deceit.
I don't need to have doubts about you.
Betrayal. Romance.
I love you more than my own life.
Passion that bores hatred, capable of inspiring revenge.
I don't even dislike him anymore.
And love that endures the test of time. The Color of Passion. Every Tuesday to Sunday at 8 p.m. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Ten minutes past 7 a.m. Good morning. It's a rainy day here in the city, and we can only be thankful because for the past 1 month or so, it's been a very hot season in the country. But with the heat comes with a lot of politics. It's heating up. A lot of things are still cooking in the political pot. That is what I want to serve you this particular morning. How about that? Welcome to the program. I am Victor Lowe. The show on air right now is The Viewpoint. I have got Wilberforce Ondo, who is the Member of Parliament representing the great people of Ingoland, Funyula constituency. Omami, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good to see you.
Mrembe mno.
Auria mno. Sasa, we are just talking about the issue of, we met just the other day. Time is flying.
Time flies. Time does not wait.
Yes. So if you're not doing anything with the time that you have, think about it. Think about it. Mwalimu Sosion, karibu sana.
Asante, good morning.
Good morning.
And time waits for no man.
And time and tides wait for no man.
Tides wait for no man.
Exactly.
It moves.
Let's do something about it. Welcome to the program, gentlemen. I'm still waiting for Mwenda Gataya, who is Senator of Tharaka Nithi, to join me shortly in studio. But you know how we go about it. Before you leave your house, let me give you a quick rundown on what the traffic situation is like in major cities. Let me start with the capital city here of Nairobi. Nothing is quite different today. The western side of the city is still looking pretty fine. That is all the way from Kabete coming into around Westlands roundabout there. The shopping center moving okay. A bit of some traffic as you join the expressway here, but the entire stretch, no, it's busy. It's busy. This particular place is busy. This must be around from Safaricom House coming all the way to, this must be Parklands Road as you come towards Yeah, it's busy. And today is not that good, but you have to be very much patient. There's no alternative route. If you can use an alternative route, fine, well and good. But after that, coming towards Villarosa into the CBD or Uhuru Highway, that is University Way again, pretty fine. Around Nyayo Stadium today is bumper to bumper because of the rain, perhaps. Hope their traffic cops trying to save the situation. Behind Nyayo National Stadium, that is Aerodrome Road, also busy. And as you come to Langata Road, joining Lusaka Road, also not okay. How about Mombasa Road? Mombasa Road, nothing much to report about. Kila kitu iko sawa. All right, Thika Road, the normal culprit, the usual culprit. Here, starting from Udaiga, going way past, this must be Outer Ring Road. Slightly past, not slightly past. This is going up to Garden City. The traffic along Thika Road again today is a mess. All the way from Garden City, nothing here happening. And yes, both sides, that is the expressway as the main highway and the service lane. So what we're Thika Road, I think we just need some prayers. Some prayers. I mean, it can never go unmentioned, Mwalimu. We need some serious prayers along Thika Road. Before the construction of Thika Highway by the late President, Mwai Kibaki, we all know what used to be of Thika Road. But it seems, Mheshimiwa Sosion, you've invested so much on Thika Road, that side of, yes, so there's traffic here. Are you an investor somewhere?
I think looking at the great infrastructure that was started from Kibaki's time, if it was not done, you can imagine the madness that would be in the city in terms of movement in and out. Thika Superhighway, Mombasa Highway, all through is dual up to past Machakos. And like before, you see what is happening in Mlolongo, very expansive road network and the bypasses. Now, if these bypasses and the main superhighways were not there in terms of infrastructure, we would be having a lot of
I would imagine how it would look like right now without this one. I'm just trying to imagine because the population also shot up and a majority of people have decided now to go outside the city, Thika, Muranga, and work in the CBD. So, yeah, you're right.
And any economy is infrastructure, infrastructure.
I agree with you. Right now, Mheshimiwa Funyula, of Member of Parliament, can drive all the way from Parliament to his doorstep without a pothole. True or false?
Yes, for
infrastructure.
Now. Yes.
Yes. So I think that's what we need to appreciate. All right. So how about
there we agree.
That's the work of Uhuru.
It is work for Kibaki.
Yeah, so the Watu Mombasa Pier today are also suffering in silence. And then we have to take a look at what's happening here. New Nyali Bridge heading towards Kongowea Market. Leo Kumashikana, Watu Mombasa. What's happening down there? That is also stretching past around Kengeleni there. But the entire stretch heading towards Pirate Beach is also moving pretty fine. Watu Mombasa, itabidi muwe na subira today. That side of Makupa Causeway, coming to the CBD, nothing much to report about. And finally, at the Likoni Ferry Channel, again, today it could be busy, rush hour. It's Wednesday midweek, and therefore we have to go to work. The other side of the channel is busy, so let's be patient with that. And finally, what's happening in Kisumu? Kisumu City must be a very busy place today due to its proximity with Homa Bay County, where now conference taking place. There's another conference happening in Kakamega, I believe so. And then there's that one happening also in Homa Bay, where the president was yesterday. So this region must be very much busy because I would imagine the extent of guests being expected there in those two counties must be exploding. I'm told that some guests are going all the way to Migori to have their accommodation there because the accommodation in Homa Bay was not enough. So we look at the number of guests, some heading all the way to Mbita and come back to Homa Bay, some going to Kisumu and come back to Homa Bay, which I think is also good for the economy of that particular block. What do you make of that, Mheshimiwa Funyula? Because when you look at the economic block of the Western Bloc, and we have such kind of conferences happening there, do we have something to take home at the end of the day with all these conferences around?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Western Kenya has long been neglected. We have only been known for our poverty, our politics, and nothing positive. And I think it's time for awakening.
Yes.
That people realize there's so much potential in the entire Western Kenya.
That's LREB.
Yes.
Yes.
So much. You see, the first governors didn't do much. But I think this crop of governors are fired up to make sure that the potential of that area is exposed so that we can invite investors, we can invite tourists, and we can invite all those people who are interested to come just see the beauty, the beautiful lake, the landscape, the cultural potential, the minerals, and so many other things that we can do in that area. This kind of conferences are normally as an awakening call. And I want to urge all the governors in the region to single out, pick out what are the competitive advantage and showcase them to the people of Kenya, people of the world, so that we can start having, foreign investment inflows so that we can improve the welfare of our people.
When you look at it, Mheshimiwa, because somebody said that the first governors learned on the job. They didn't have that textbook. So they were learning as they were working.
This depends on how they interpreted devolution. And that was the beginning of establishment of devolution. And it was mixed with many issues. There was no clarity in terms of legislation, in terms of collaboration, in terms of development master plans for the counties and being proactive the way we are now seeing the new generation of governors. I agree with Mheshimiwa here. But now where we are, 10 years down the line, it has become evidently clear that where efforts have been put in devolution at the grassroots level, results have been realized. And the governors who have been elected in the last election, most of them developed meaningful master plans for their counties.
Yes.
If we pick, for example, Homa Bay, we can see this is not the first time we are seeing activities in Homa Bay.
This is the second one, actually.
Headed by Gladys Wanga, very passionately, in terms of micro, small, medium enterprises, housing, infrastructure, and the blue economy exploitation and mobilizing people. And more particularly, developing strong collaboration between the county and national government. And you can see the president is so passionate about what is happening in Homa Bay, and the governor is so passionate. And we can see that collaboration of the president and the governor in focusing on the specifics of that particular county. And I was excited to see the 7 women governors working together, regardless of political affiliations and the rest. And you can see it can reach a time that we can put aside political feelings and interest, and leaders can sit together around one table and focus and address the welfare of the people. So the international conference at Homa Bay will not go to waste. And they have an advantage of a very versatile, hard-working governor who is able to build bridges with all the leaders without hurting anybody.
That's also an encouragement to other women leaders who are aspiring to be governors.
We don't need to transact bad politics all the time. Moi said, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. Yeah, but when we agree that we work and improve the welfare of the people, and we do it, which I also think the president has set an example that we can do politics without hate. After election, we can all work together and address the needs of the people, live as brothers and as friends.
Very good.
Yeah.
What's on the front page of the People Daily, if you can see it from there, Mheshimiwa? People Daily?
Yes.
Raila's base soft on Ruto. Raila's base soft on Ruto. I think this is with relations to President William Ruto was in Homa Bay yesterday, and Nyanza residents who have been hostile to President yesterday gave him a red carpet welcome because of backing his rival's bid to for top Africa Union post. Yes, so on the front page, that is Raila's base soft on Ruto. Again, in pictures, he was there. There we have got legislators both from the national government and local administration. We have got Peter Kaluma there, that is for Homa Bay constituency, Gladys Wanga, and yes, the chief guest was the president. We have President William Ruto with Governor Gladys Wanga during the official opening of the Homa Bay County Second International Investment Conference at the Tomboy University yesterday. And the president said, let me quote, "When I campaigned and slept here in Homa Bay, I promised a government of national unity. And as I promised, you can see for yourself. Needless to belabor the point, the writing is here for all to see." That is what the president said during that time. And this is what we have on the front page. Again, Mheshimiwa Oundo, what do you make of this? It was expected anyway, because they were in Kampala the other day, and the following day they were in Homa Bay. So what do you make of this?
Nobody has been hostile to anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody has been hostile to either Raila or to Ruto, because they're all Kenyans.
Yeah.
They're working for the people of Kenya. But whenever you do not do what we expect you to do, definitely the people will be hostile to you. If you don't do what we expect you to do, people will be hostile to you.
And that is normal in politics?
Yeah, it's normal in politics.
Yeah.
In any case, politics changes any day. And as Mwalimu Sossion knows, a day in politics is too long. You can wake up very well, very good politically. You make a stupid statement or make a stupid move.
And you're doomed.
By evening, it's all gone. So this is the dynamics of politics.
Yeah.
It could be comradeship today. It could be good today. But if you stab me in the back, in the evening, things would change. But generally, as people of Kenya, as we have always said, politics should not be a basis to divide us. We campaign, we finish, we move on. I might not like you, so if I don't like you, doesn't mean I hate you as a person. I just don't like your policies. I doesn't like the way you do your things. If you come on a day when I'm feeling okay, I can entertain you.
Yeah.
When you come on a day I do not want to entertain you, just accept the fact and move on. So generally, we see really no big deal. Ruto has gone to literally all parts of the country. Nobody has chased him away. Nobody has heckled him. Raila has likewise, after the election, traveled to traverse and gone to all parts of the country. Nobody has blocked him. Nobody has stopped him. So this narrative that some people are hostile to another, some people are, I don't like what, it's just a fallacy. It's just normally built up by those who thrive on those kind of politics of division. But generally, well, Ruto is the president, and I like quoting our Secretary General, Edwin Sifuna. He says, when you are aboard a flight, even if you don't like the pilot, you just pray for the pilot to land the flight safely, then you can hammer the pilot while you're on the ground. You don't start hammering the pilot when you are in the air.
Mheshimiwa Sossion, you take the cue.
That's an interesting comment, but I think the level of politics and the level of democracy and mature politics in Kenya is one of the best in the world. That Kenyans must accept. And this has been demonstrated by our leaders. So the engagement between Raila Odinga and William Ruto is good news for the country. It gives an assurance of political stability and expansion of opportunities for the people of Kenya. Don't forget, Raila and Ruto have been political friends. We all campaigned. And in fact, Kenya Kwanza administration is basically a former ODM, because the who is who in Kenya Kwanza administration supported Raila Odinga in 2007 in his bid in ODM. We were all there together. We are friends and we know ourselves very well. So it really wasn't, it doesn't surprise anybody. It was just a matter of time. Raila Odinga being a mature and seasoned politician, and William Ruto being an experienced and a gifted politician. The two will always know working together is better for the country, putting the people together is better for the country, and I think this has been demonstrated with a lot of ease. And when you see the people of Homa Bay responding, it is not only the people of Homa Bay, it's the people of Kenya, it's all of them. People want peace, and people are happy when leaders work together. And the other bit, the commitment of William Ruto, the president, to support Raila Odinga for the AU Commission, which is a very important position, very critical and influential position, is good for the country. It's actually expanding the horizon of influence of the people of Kenya to make a contribution to the continent through Raila Odinga, which is good.
All right.
And I would say, the Bible says, in my Father's house, there is room enough for all of us. But when you accept to live in peace and agree politically, there is room for everyone.
All right. And on that
and
note,
there will be plenty for all of us. So I think
there is enough
this
time.
is good leadership for this country and democracy.
The same way in our Father's house, enough room for everyone, Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
The same way on GMK, we have got enough time for all of us to discuss much more after this break. Situchukue break turudi. We'll be right back. Mheshimiwa Mwenda Gatai is in studio joining me shortly after this. A lot more to unpack. Stay with us. Good morning.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who is the man in this one? And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani. Kile wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1. We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
叶文洁，你知不知道污蔑是罪加一等啊？白木林同志，我们之前已经调查得非常清楚了，他只是受你之托把信从城里寄出去，至于信的内容是什么，他完全不知道。
有点抵触，没寻思着你这么根深蒂固，你这套你。
下午带回尸骨，认真查，仔细查，直到他认罪为止。时间的尽头。
right, welcome back. So let's continue the discussion here. Today is Political Buffet. We want to take a look at what has been happening in the political arena in the past 1 week as we come to this midweek, and most importantly, what we should be expecting politically speaking. Now, very quickly, Mheshimiwa Mwenda Gataya, karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
While you were away, we discussed a lot.
I'm sorry that I've come late.
No problem.
Jam here and there.
Mheshimiwa Wundo said that you are not an early riser.
No, I'm an early riser. I already got slightly late.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
All right, so we are just taking a look at what we have on the front page of the local dailies. Very quickly, I'll give you a minute to talk about this. Raila's base soft on Ruto. Of course, this is Nyanza residents who have been hostile to President. Yesterday, gave him a red carpet kind of welcome because of his backing to his rival's bid for top Africa union post. What do you make of this headline? In 1 minute, kindly.
But basically, that is what we want as Kenyans. We want peace in this country. Why do we have to have some agreement?
All right.
You know, once we go into elections, one loses, one wins. I mean, the whole idea is I mean, that the president wants to bring this country at peace. And that's what he promised. Everybody is on board. It's a win-win situation.
Election, maliza, tuendele.
Yeah, of course.
Very good.
Yeah, and that's why you see Kenya has always been peaceful. We have not had the issues to do with where people lose and go into the bush to fight. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa Sossion, front page of the Standard newspaper, Ruto Raila power plan. This is what you have here. Raila received a delegation yesterday. The president and his newfound ally were in Uganda to seek President Yoweri Museveni's hand and nod on their quest for the AU Commission top seat on Monday. Hardly had Kenyans absorbed it than Ruto said in Homa Bay yesterday that it is all systems go in push to get Raila to Addis Ababa. That is what you have here. And gentlemen, I'll give you a picture, of course, not so clear, but I'll get you a picture very shortly on what happened. According to the Standard here, there was, number one, secret meeting between Raila and former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, but the compromise on Raila's exit strategy, number one. Number two, Raila and Ruto are on a charm offensive mission to have region field one candidate to avoid previous frustrations. And lastly, gender CS Aisha Juma yesterday visited Raila to brief him on the progressive report on the 2/3 gender rule. That is what is here on the picture. Let me start with you, Mheshimiwa Sossion, as you got the other side. Very quickly on this one.
On that picture, Aisha Juma breathing Raila Odinga.
Yes, and on the front page as well.
It's very clear that the country is now united.
Yes.
And the unity of the country begins with leaders. And so the detailed engagement between President William Ruto and Raila Odinga is a good thing. And therefore, being a seasoned leader in this country, Raila Odinga needs to be briefed on the political intentions of the country and even of government, like the 2/3 gender rule. It will go to parliament. He has a coalition that he leads, and he needs to be briefed about the same, so that good issues can be supported across board without fighting. And therefore, we should not read too much questions that when leaders are disagreeing, it's a good thing in the country. We must put aside certain things at time and work in agreement and in harmony.
Yeah.
And getting into the details, we've seen these engagements are not about Kenya. These engagements are about the interest of East Africa in the AU. These engagements are about the future of Africa. President William Ruto has been very candid about the policy shift of the continent as a free trade area and preservation, processing of our minerals within the continent. So that is value addition and strengthening our economy, and also our relationship with the financial institution, the interest rate, and many things. He cannot do it from State House Nairobi.
Yeah.
Somebody has to do it at AU office. And the best person for that matter, who has the correct political experience, both locally and internationally, is Raila Amolo Odinga. Having been the high representative in infrastructure at the AU level, he has the right credentials. And therefore, President William Ruto taking it upon himself to approve the candidature of Raila Odinga on behalf of the government of the Republic of Kenya and on behalf of the people of Kenya is an indicator of confidence. And sitting with the regional leaders like Museveni, we've seen they visited Museveni at his own home looking after cows. And you see, that's an African way of engaging. Going to meet an old man at home to consult and to agree, and you can see the humility of all the three leaders. And it's a good thing. It's a good sign for East Africa. And it's a good sign for Africa that leaders can come together.
Absolutely.
There is nothing greater than that. And therefore, if President William Ruto and Raila Odinga are engaging to transform the political and economic landscape of the continent at their time, when God gives them that opportunity, then it's a good thing. It's all of us. It's something that all of us should be able to support.
Senator.
Yes.
Quote unquote handshake. Quote unquote handshake. Ruto gets warm reception in Raila Nyanza bastion after quote unquote handshake.
I don't want to take that route of the handshake.
Yes.
But of course, Raila's candidature is above Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. It's above Kenya. This is an East African push. You know, we are not supposed even to see it from the local politics. We are supposed to look at it at what we are getting as East Africa, what we are getting as a country. And, you know, in Kenya, we are too much into these local politics. The handshake and these perceptions here and there. But basically, if we look at it from a win-win situation, as the Honorable Sosiona just put it, putting Raila in the helm of AU is a very big win for Kenya. It's a very big win for East Africa. It's a very big win even for Africa itself. Because among all the contenders, among all the candidates who would be confronted for that position, Raila positioned himself as the best candidate with a lot of experience, both international, both local, and he has all the history of this Africa.
Is there a power plan?
One would say yes or one would say no, but basically let's interrogate that process where Raila gets the chairmanship of AU in Africa.
All right.
Then we can manage our local politics just after that.
Perhaps the best person to ask this is Mheshimiwa Undo. Is there a power plan? You know, secret meetings, pale kwa kona, you may attend. Is there something that we don't know?
I want to join my colleagues to tell the Kenyans that let's not read too much into the current happenings. Raila expressed his interest to become the EU chair.
Right.
And he cannot get the EU chair until his own country, until whoever is the current president of the Republic of Kenya gives him that endorsement.
Nominates him.
Yes.
Right.
And I wouldn't imagine that a sitting president will frustrate a fellow Kenyan who wants to become, who wants to take a global position or a position in Africa. It's natural. It will look so bad, it will look so demeaning. Therefore, I've seen nothing extraordinary what President Ruto has done to endorse Raila's candidature for AU. And I think, let it go. We tried it with I think there was a lady, Amina Abdallah, somebody like that. It flopped. And I'm sure that's why they don't want this time around, for the same to happen. So that's why I think this engagement are becoming extremely necessary. If we, as you have been briefed, President Museveni and both Raila reached out to each other for the push for this position. So naturally, the cog in between, it has to be the President of the Republic of Kenya. So it's natural they to meet, agree on the terms, so that they can lobby all over. I'm not thinking of handshake. There isn't a thing of such a nature at the moment. At the moment, let's focus on the AU position. Let's focus on probably trying to implement bits and bits of NADOC report, National Dialogue Committee report. And one of the issues of National Dialogue Committee report was the third gender rule. And that's where it was obviously, naturally, that whoever is responsible in that committee, sector working group, must go and brief Raila Amolo Odinga. You know, in this country, you can't move things when you ignore Raila Amolo Odinga. And probably those of you who remember the statement of Michael Wamala Kijana, that this country is divided at the center. Those who loathe Raila Odinga and those who adore Raila Amolo Odinga. So in this country, as long as he remains alive, you have no choice.
What is your choice?
Somehow along the line.
What is a personal choice?
somehow along the line,
yes.
However brutal you are, however powerful you think you are, you will still need that man.
At some point.
You have to go back to that man at one time or another to get things moving.
Very good.
Yeah, and I think that's the strategy. And I'm sure it's going to, to annoy some people somewhere. And just wait a few weeks' time. You will see the rumbles all over.
We need to have a conversation somewhere.
What are the
What's going to happen? On the front page of the Daily Nation, Exodus, parents now ditch academies. Parents now ditch academies. This is what's happening here. Bungoma Public School has received 300 new learners since January. That is as per the statistics now. And it continues to say that reality check, thousands of parents across the country have transferred their children from expensive private institutions to public schools as they now re-evaluate their priorities given the current hard economic times, piling more pressure on schools already facing serious staffing and infrastructure challenges. This is the front page of the Daily Nation. Again, on the front page, the two gentlemen, this was a picture was taken in Uganda. Friends again, question Ruto, Raila, and power of a picture. We'll take a look at that later on in our discussion that's going to be forming this discussion later on. But gentlemen, we all know the education system is facing a lot of problems right now. Is it a problem or a transition? Mheshimiwa Susion, you probably might be so well versed with this. And is it so shocking? Was it expected, or is it just normal, the exodus?
Not just so vast,
right,
but deeply vast.
Deeply vast.
Yes.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Good.
This was expected. You know why parents have been taking children to academies?
No.
So that they can score high marks and join the premium public national schools in primary. That is what it is in Kenya. KCP, the exam that has been the target by placing children in private schools is no more. So since it is no more, the system has changed. We are here with a completely different structure of education. 9 years comprehensive, 3 years senior secondary. And transition from comprehensive to senior secondary will be done through a summative exam and with a different format, and therefore, and all the schools will be equal.
Yeah.
There is no national school, no sub-county. All schools will be one. And therefore, for parents to invest again in academies does not make sense. And over time, the efforts of improving quality of our public schools over the years through free learning and funding from CDF through members of parliament has given significant impact. In fact, there is now value in terms of education outcomes in our public schools. And that is what we fought for over the years.
Yeah.
And you see, if you look at the constituencies, you were seeing the other day in Dindi Nyoro in Kiharu constituency with the facelifting of infrastructure of public primary schools, and Elimubora, where parents can only pay 1,000 shillings for day secondary schools, dignifying day secondary schools. So it has reached a time. Then if those resources from government have been put together and the quality of our public schools has been enhanced, then what is the need of taking children to academies? To me, I'm seeing a good future in this country, and I admire members of parliament. You've done a great job with CDF to dignify infrastructure of public schools. And beyond infrastructure, you've given it administrative attention and support to the public school. Because education is a public good, it's a fundamental human right that must be provided by the state, and that all children must enjoy equal opportunities. We cannot have some enjoying extra services because they have money in private schools and others condemned in public schools. So that is an indicator of significant improvement of the quality outcomes in our public schools.
What is the projection?
Something
5
good
years,
to
10 years from now?
Yeah, my projection is, particularly with the model, the education charter of Kenya Kwanza, which of course is already government policy, and with the establishment of comprehensive school, and which the president is very clear that we must direct more CDF money to comprehensive schools to improve the quality of infrastructure and operations. If once that is done, it will not be done overnight. In the period, we'll be able to count reasonable outcomes by 2027. And by the time we get the full cycle of transition of senior secondary will commence in 2026. And so by 2029, we'll have the full cycle of the basic education working properly. And by 2029, the impact of directing CDF deliberately to improve the quality of infrastructure and services in schools shall have accumulated its effect in all the schools. So by 2030, which is of course the framework of SDG 4, by 2030, there should be equitable delivery of equitable quality education for all children, actually all boys and girls. So really, we are well within the international framework of SDG as a country. To me, that is the greatest news. It is not about parents getting broke.
All right, gentlemen, you'll have to agree with me. I ought to be biased because of his background, from that we get the root cause and more in-depth analysis.
We can also give in some insights here and there.
Exactly,
No,
but then we were in class, literally in class. But then look at it this way, Mheshimiwa Senator. This also calls for a political goodwill. You know, getting the CDF, I know it's not your function, Mheshimiwa Undo. This calls for a political goodwill, having to support public primary schools. Then it means that even the government is now training more teachers and, you know...
As employing more teachers.
Exactly. So it means it calls for a political goodwill, employing more getting more teachers, improving schools, and more infrastructure. But what do you think, Mheshimiwa Senator?
You know, for the record, I don't know, this is just within your view, because for the last, I think, 1 year, the current government has put in place some very serious structures, especially on education. I remember, I think the first lot the government has employed over 50,000 teachers.
56,000.
56,000. So I think that's an indication that this government is trying to make sure that we have these structures in place. You know, for very many years we have been producing parrot learners. People recite things and here and there. We have shifted to things that we can see. That's why you see the academies have been too much into performance. You have scored A, you have scored many marks and all these things. So I think I agree with what the expert has just said, because Osion is a known, he's an expert. I think somebody is a school of thought in himself that he knows so much about education. So I think we are in the right direction as a country.
In the right direction.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa Undo, with the constituency?
Yes, I want to look at this matter from two lenses. Okay. One is that the cost of maintaining a child in academies is heavy, is high. With the ever-increasing taxes on the incomes every single day, obviously a family has to sit down and take that hard decision. And I don't want to agree with Mwalimu Sosion. That decision has been made easier by two things. One, the massive investment CDF has had on infrastructure in public schools. If you transfer all over the country, there is very little now difference between public schools and those private academies in terms of infrastructure. That's the truth of the matter. CDF, the hand of CDF can be seen. The hand of CDF can be felt. CDF can be felt everywhere. Unlike other funds, I don't want to mention which ones.
You can mention.
Thirdly,
for transparency.
Teachers. Yes. Many teachers who are in private schools and academies, when the government started employing teachers, many of them left to go and get employed by TSC for simple reason there is a security of job, security of tenure. So you do find that most of these private schools and private academies do not have qualified teachers. That's the fact of the matter. All the teachers, any teacher, I can tell you, ask him whether he wants to be employed by TSC or remain in a private school, he will take the TSC employment any given hour, any given day. So because of that, the tide has shifted now towards public schools, and also now with the end of KCP, where the cutthroat marks became the order of the day, now parents can relax. And most also tellingly, if you look at the new university funding structure, the new university funding structure seems to disadvantage kids from academies and private schools. And that's why you find probably somebody will look at the future. If I keep my kid in a private school, the score, when he applies for funding at the university level, I will be put in a certain category. They will look at his history, and then the amount of funding will be commensurately lower. So any parent who is looking in the future will definitely now say, let me leave my kid at the same level like the rest, so that when they are assessing, they are assessed at the same level.
Very good.
So I think we must equalize. Education should be an equalizer.
Yeah.
Perfect. It matters whether you went to an academy, you went to a public school, you must have the same level ability, the same chances in life. This trend is commendable, and we must continue to invest in our public schools heavily.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen, I want us to come back home and take a look at this photo. This is a photo that has made many people talking. Nobody expected this to happen. Nobody saw it coming. The three wise men. I want us to take a look at this photo keenly, and most importantly, this one. Mheshimiwa Undu, now that your voice is still warm, when you saw this photo, what ran through your mind, but in relation to the quest to have the AU position back home, right at our doorstep?
Two things ran through my mind. That President Ruto was discharging his duty as the head of state, head of government of the Republic of Kenya. He's duty bound to support any Kenyan who expresses an interest in any international assignment. As the Americans would say, I might not like you as the president, but I'll support you any decision that you make as a president that affects foreign policy. That's the mentality we should have in this country. Second, when I saw that picture, I told, and which I always tell my political friends, followers, or supporters, and probably we need to quote Senator Mandago when he was governor. Do not put politics in the stomach. Put it in the lungs or where you can breathe it out anytime. There's no enmity in politics. We'll disagree today because my expectation and yours have not been met, but there's no enmity in politics. That's a matter we must hammer in the people of Kenya, that you do not have to oppose my position at all time simply because I'm a Raila follower or a Ruto follower. And this message should go directly to the floor of our House in Parliament. And this message should sink hard into the mind of the leadership of majority party in Parliament. That when we are legislating, it's not about Kenya Kwanza versus Azimio. It's about this country. This picture must send them a very strong message. There is no enmity in politics. We are all, but most importantly, serving the people of Kenya.
Senator, based on the body language, the eye contact, the closeness, the proximity of the two gentlemen, the attention, if you look at this picture, again, in as far as the campaign for the AU position is concerned, what do you read?
I think I'll have to go back to what I told you earlier, and I told you that Raila's candidature is above, Azimio is above Kenya Kwanza, it's above Kenya, it's an East African slot. And I'm happy with His Excellency, the President of this Republic, because he has just gone out to make sure that we have this seat for Raila Odinga.
Yes.
And it's a clear message to everybody who would want to hear, who would want to listen, that our democracy is maturing. We are coming of age, because I am a student of history. I know of some few things here and there in this country that we are not extremists. Once we go into elections, one wins, one loses. At the end of the day, people sit down and talk as Kenyans. This is a very, very, very positive message for those of us who are in politics, for those of us who are in Azimio, for those of us who are in Kenya Kwanza, that this country is heading to the right direction. I'm happy as a politician, as a senator, because I don't think whether we need chaos in this country. Having Raila on board as the chair of AU, having His Excellency the President pushing for his candidature is a clear message to everybody who would want to hear, to reason that as a country we are brothers and sisters. We don't care who belongs to where. And I think this is a very positive thing that we are supposed now to champion as leadership.
Yes. What do we stand to benefit as East Africa?
As East Africa, you know, one thing we are going to gain a lot of respect, right? Two, we going to stand a position where we can negotiate for business, we can negotiate for infrastructure, we can negotiate even for international standard issues here and there. So I think as in Africa, this is the best way that we can have leaders and a candidate, and it will be a very big benefit for us as a region.
All right.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa Sossion.
I think looking at that picture, there's one thing that Kenyans should know. That friendship and that engagement is not beginning today. So that really, in terms of the history of our political development, we should know that political leaders have relations. We have relations among ourselves. Mheshimiwa here was my deskmate when we were in Parliament, in the 12th Parliament. We might be together in future. There is that history that we build over time. And friendship matters. In 2007, it is William Ruto who campaigned vigorously for Raila Odinga across the country. And we were part of the team campaigning for Raila Odinga at that time. Other things changed. In 2013, William Ruto campaigned for Uhuru Kenyatta. And 2022, William Ruto and Raila Odinga were in the ballot.
Yes.
The only thing that separated the two was the contest. But after elections, there is no reason. For me, I remember when I was leaving the party and I asked Raila Odinga, is it possible that you can work with William Ruto? And he said, I have no problem working with William Ruto. He told me as a person, and I can say it in public because the conversation, both of them are my friends. You know, I've been in that political ecosystem for a long time. And when I was received by William Ruto in the party, he said, yes, it's good you are here. If your former party wants to engage us, they have a friend in you here. And me, I realized these channels are open. And so that picture doesn't surprise me. Yes. It only makes me very happy. And it makes others very happy. And it makes all Kenyans happy. Those who are scouting for some conflict, that some people will react here and there. The government is enough for everybody. It's enough for all communities. And opportunities in leadership are many. So really, by Kenya government endorsing Raila Odinga to work at the continental level, that means technically is part of government of the Republic of Kenya in terms of foreign protocols with time. That's the truth. And therefore, the link between the Commission Chair and AU and the President of the country will be constant and strong, and they have to work for the continent. And the urgent things that must be done. It's not about William Ruto, it's not about Raila Odinga, it's about the people of Africa. We've been seeing Julius Malema talking very strongly about Pan-Africanism. There are many people who are talking about Pan-Africanism. There is need to strengthen the infrastructure in the continent so that Kenyans can take a train from Nairobi to Lagos, maybe in 48 hours. There is need to free the airspace in Africa so that you can fly very cheaply across the continent. These barriers of closing airspaces is very colonial. It doesn't help to strengthen the businesses in Kenya. The business opportunities. Kenyans are the most educated in the region. They are the strongest human resource. And if we open up the continent, we'll be opening business opportunities for our citizens. We'll get Kenyans in Lagos, we'll get Kenyans in Angola, we'll get Kenyans everywhere. And I think the bigger picture matters most. and the people to deliver the continent strategically at this historic time is one Raila Odinga and William Ruto.
Okay.
Because they have a strong view for the continent.
And this
there is
that
need
goes...
to strengthen the African continental free trade area.
Yes.
It is more urgent. And probably that will graduate into having one strong currency for the continent. You have seen the currencies of many countries in Africa.
That is where we are heading.
They've gone down by about 400%.
But the question is, gentlemen, do we have a choice as East Africa?
But if we have one currency, one currency for the continent, we'll be able to manage the effects of other currencies like the dollar, and will protect all people in the continent uniformly. East African community as an economic bloc has greatly matured.
Okay.
You can walk to Kampala, own property. You can walk to Tanzania. There's free movement of goods and people. And that one is not going to work if we don't strengthen AU. And, the leadership and the operations within the East African community, economically and politically, are potential enough to lead
my
the
question
continent.
is, do we as East Africa have another option apart from taking Raila Odinga? As East Africa, we've not had this position before. So, Senator, do we have an option apart from Raila Odinga to take up the mantle?
Currently, I don't think whether there is anybody who measures the candidature of Raila Odinga. We have already said this, so we have already talked. Actually, if you look at the history of Raila Odinga in this region, it cuts across so many other personalities that one would think of. So I think Raila's candidature is the best. Actually in Africa, not even in East Africa.
In East Africa. Yeah. Look at it this way, continentally speaking, he's had that position at the African Union.
Yes.
So when you bring it back home, as Africa, other parts of the region have had that position before. So it's most likely to come to East Africa. Let me ask you, Mheshimiwa, before I forget, are you going to remain orphans in Azimio? With Raila's exit. There's been a lot of talk.
You see, that's what surprises me with the Kenya Kwanza guys. You see, when they go making noise in villages, in funerals, there are no votes for EU chairmen in funerals, in villages here. They are in Addis Ababa and the heads of states all over. So when you go over gloating in the villages, how we are going to become orphans, how Ruto will have a free pass in 2027, then again, it shows how the lack of understanding, the lack of exposure at diplomatic international level. We're not going to remain orphans. ODM, let me speak for ODM.
Right.
Because I'm an ODM member. ODM is an ideology. ODM is an ideology. Railaism is an ideology that will outlive Raila himself physically. So nobody's going to remain an orphan. It's an ideology that we have carried, it's a philosophy, it's a principle that we have carried, and that philosophy will still be carried. Social democracy, which means that we practice democracy, but the democracy must allow us to share whatever we have equitably and fairly throughout the country. That ideology will not change. That aspiration will not change, because we still have very many unfinished businesses in where we come from. Those who think that we're going to remain orphan, those who think that many current MPs hang on Baba's court to get re-elected.
Is that the case?
Many think so. And the question I keep on asking, what also stops you from hanging on Baba's court, even if you are independent or whichever party, and also get elected? And when you ask that question, they mute themselves. Why not come even the ODM nomination and defeat those who are there and get elected? There's nobody going to be an orphan. Each member of parliament is normally voted in or voted out on the basis of what they have done for the people. If you have done nothing, if you, for the 5 years you have not done anything tangible, even if you stood on Baba's head, nobody will re-elect you. Even for us in Busia, we had 7 constituencies, 5 were elected on ODM, 1 was elected independent, 1 was elected on UDA. And in both of the 2 constituencies, they did not elect an ODM person. We had very strong ODM candidates. But the people felt they were not the right candidate for those seats. So this narrative that anybody is going to remain, even
Victor,
in Luo Nyanza,
Victor, there is something that
listen, even in Luo Nyanza, you have those MPs who are not in ODM party and are in parliament. So let's get out of this narrative that there are going to be offers, there are going to be what. In any case, Baba remains Baba. Your father remains your father.
Victor, Mheshimiwa is trying to interrogate some political intonations. Kenya is a very, very spacious democracy. For those of us who really want to refer to what Kenya does as a country, especially on those political circles.
Yes.
But basically, if we really want to get into the real issues, as a country, as a democracy which has seen its strong growth from almost the 1990s, we need a strong opposition as a government. Any democracy that is what it's thought would require a strong opposition. Whether Raila is there or whether Raila is not there, we need to have checks and balances. That is why the national dialogue was structured itself. It has brought some very serious, very recommendable recommendations in the floor of the House that we are supposed now to have an office of the official opposition in place, right? So, Mheshimiwa, it's not about Raila Odinga. It's not about anybody, because we are here today, tomorrow we are not going to be there. As a country, we need a strong opposition. We're supposed to check on the government. And that is basically what democracy, what the Constitution really defines itself.
Yes.
So we are not supposed now to engage ourselves in a small-term arrangements, right? Odinga, Ruto, and all these things. We are not going to be here for long, right? So, but as a country, we have to put in place some very serious structures that make sure that whichever government comes into force, then there is an opposition who is supposed to keep it on check. That is basically what democracy is all about. Yeah, you're in the government today, tomorrow you're in the opposition, and when you're in the government, you must have somebody who is supposed to check on what you are doing. Whether Raila Odinga is not there, whether Raila Odinga is there or not, we need a strong opposition in this country.
A strong opposition.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa, do you think you have a strong opposition in Parliament? In 10 seconds.
Yes, we do, but we are outnumbered. But as we always say, the majority will have their way, but the minority will be hard.
That's a good
I have led a relentless fight and push to be hard. And that's why I said that picture should send a very strong message to the other side of the divide, that we are here for purposes of Kenyans. And I keep on telling, and the other day I was telling some senior officials from my constituency that my work is cut out in Article 94, 95, and 96 of the Constitution. Collectively, the Parliament, both Senate and National Assembly, has got a mandate in the Constitution to oversight the executive. And that's why you find we do not have opposition or a government in Parliament. We have minority side and majority side. But you see, some mentality is creeping in that there is opposition, there is government. All of us are mandated by the Constitution to oversight the national executive.
Very good.
So that we should, and actually it's the Parliament that should be the opposition to oversight the executive. The moment Parliament directs that duty, then even the opposition is talking about, opposition is not going to come from outside. Laws are made in Parliament, budgets are passed in Parliament, oversight is done in Parliament, literally everything is done in Parliament.
All right.
That's where the talk should be.
Mheshimiwa Session.
Yes, I agree strongly with the sentiments of members of Parliament here, and yes, Member of Parliament and Senator. What we need to understand here is that the glorification of individuals and dividing the country to glorify individuals is not the way to govern this country. That is not how to grow a democracy. We must strengthen institutions. And so reducing Raila's AU candidature to look at, to cast aspersions on the strengthening and weakening of Azimio and whatnot, and using it as an item of village discussions, I don't think this is the right time to do that, and I don't think that is the correct thing. Institutions will exist. If Azimio is a coalition in its own self, it's an institution. Yeah. So it will exist depending on its own internal structures and democracy. Institutions remain, but people, individuals come and go. Yeah. Come and go. And that is why in the NATCO report, establishment of the office of the official leader of the opposition shall be adopted. And once adopted, there will be a leader in that office. There will be a leader from that arrangement. So that is another space, another position that is coming up. Someone will have to take up that position and lead the opposition in parliament to check government. We've been working as unions with labor unions of the UK, and I've hosted shadow ministers of labor in my office, going about the business of the opposition party. And it is sponsored by government of the UK, by the taxpayers, the people of the UK. I think what we need now is to entrench good practices that are going to sustain institutions to deliver democracy, social rights, and economic rights of the people. Right. So I don't think reducing this discussion to be, it is about elections of 2027. No. Let's forget about that. All right. Let us do what we must do now, which is good for Kenya, and which is good for the continent, which is good for democracy, and which is good for our economy.
All right. We need to go. I'm going to give you 1 minute. What should we expect moving forward, between now and moving forward until we have that election? What are we expecting? 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think the most important thing, we expect the president and Raila Odinga to engage in more diplomatic engagements within the region and across the continent. So come that time of election, the continent will not be divided. And we expect, because this is an East African opportunity, South Africa have had it, Central Africa have had it, West Africa have had it, North Africa have had it, then it is time for East Africa. Then all the East African community member states within a reasonable period of time, through diplomatic engagements of the president, particularly, all the heads of state, if they can endorse Raila Odinga, then it will be a no contest. It will be a good thing, and it will be a show of solidarity.
Thank you. Yeah. Let me donate your time to Mheshimiwa Gataya.
You know, Victor, I know that as a country, let us not trivialize the candidacy of Raila Odinga. No, we are too much into local politics, right? From whatever divide you look at it, whether you're in Kenya Kwanza or Azimio, let's not...
There is one vote.
Yes, there is one vote.
There's just one vote in Addis Ababa.
Let's not go into those small politics here and there in the villages. Yeah. This is a big undertaking, and we are supposed to take this matter seriously as a country, as a region. So let's not go into those issues of Kenya Kwanza, Azimio, Raila Odinga, and all these things. I think those are petty village politics that as a senator, I wouldn't want even to hear people talk. You know, we have issues who have benefited from those squabbles here and there, conflicts. I belong to Azimio, I belong to Kenya Kwanza. So you find your way into getting into system because you really want to use that position to maybe to benefit yourself as a person. And I don't think that's the best way to go as a country. So I think let's not be petty as politicians because Raila Odinga's candidature is our undertaking. And I'm happy with the president because he has taken it as a job, right?
Yes.
On behalf of Kenyans.
And what has that he's delegated that job to Musalia Mudavadi to lead the campaign.
Exactly.
Very good. Mheshimiwa Wundu.
As my colleagues have said, let's focus on the EU chairmanship. It's an honor for a country to produce a EU chair. It's an honor, it's a great honor because there are so many others in the East African region who would have wished to get that position. But the status Baba has built over the years makes him the point man for that position. As a country, let's support his candidature, regardless of what happens 2027. Let's divorce the politics of 2027 from this push for AU chairmanship. The country will sort itself. There'll be the NADCO report, its implementation. There will be the state of the economy. There will be the issue of inclusivity. Those are not the issues that will come to the fore during the campaigns for 2027.
I love the way what has happened today. All of you, nobody has talked about Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. All of you are on the same page.
Yes.
Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Finally, Mheshimiwa Sosion, this is you. I don't know what you're talking about and what you're thinking, but that is you.
May I have
very
it?
serious.
May I have it?
There you have it.
Oh,
very
wonderful.
serious.
Picture of the day.
Yes. Picture of the day. That is what's happening. Hata imekataa kutoka. Tumalizia hapo. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Victor Lo. Mheshimiwa Sosion, asante sana. Former NATSEC Gen, as well as Mwenda Gataya. Thanks sana for coming after a very long time.
Thank you. Thank you,
Say
my
hi
brother.
to the constituents.
You know, Victor, I just told you the other day, I miss being a journalist.
You came for a voice test here and
of course, and I scored very highly. Then I got lost.
You failed. That's why I have a job.
Yeah, that's why you have
When you don't get your own
thanks a lot for the invite.
But that must be long time ago.
That time you were just a young guy. Yes. I don't think even you were born that time.
I think I was still a good idea. Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank
you for watching the show. We're still having a lot much more lined up for you, including that engineering discussion. Are you an engineer? You have to listen to this. My name is Victor Lo. Good morning. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mheshimiwa.
Yes,
we have never...
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani. Sile wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow.
We are the full package.
Oh yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Maisha mazuri Maisha mazuri ya.
Get loose, get jiggy with it. Nimekuja kuwa show vile tutafanya.
Heko na watoleni wote mlioarembo. Ninawapa namba 1, siwasemi kwa mafumbo.
Bako nalokunuza siende ukainuza. Raha za dunia mwana ni karaha na kuambia.
Wenzangu wanieleza akili zinapanuza. Mabuku nikicharaza nitakuwa naongoza. Ili kwamba ni kweli wazazi hawajawapa watoto wao uhuru na nafasi ya kujieleza.
Mzazi anampa mtoto wake nafasi ya kujielezea ndipo amsaidie katika changamoto zake.
Watoto hao wanapotoka kimaadili kwa sababu wazazi wao hawawapi wakati wa kutangamana nao ili watoto wao wawaelezee mambo yanayowasumbua.
Hii ni Sanaa ya Kiswahili katika KBC Channel 1.
叶文洁，你知不知道污蔑是罪加一等啊？白木林同志，我们之前已经调查得非常清楚了，他只是受你之托把信从城里寄出去，至于信的内容是什么，他完全不知道。
有点抵触，没寻思着你这么根深蒂固，你这套你是。
下午带回尸骨，认真查，仔细查，直到他认罪为止。
No. Marcelo, I have so many things to tell you as well.
Maybe something is indeed happening. I've been feeling for some time now that Marcelo is keeping things from me. Important things that he doesn't want me to find out.
Such as what?
You can't help me. I did something stupid. Really stupid. The only thing I can do now is to pray to the Almighty and face the consequences.
What are you hinting at, Alonso? What? I have some witnesses. I was in the factory when that woman died, I'm sure.
I never mentioned what time Trini died.
Baby, when we first met, I never felt something so strongly. You were like my lover and my best friend. Listen, I'm good. You'll never make it, bitches. You have to move on. Only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Whoa. The woman of my dream, oh my queen.
Watu wanatandikwa wale wase wanapigwa viboko.
Usiniite mzee mimi.
Wewe
mama na huyo mzee. Wewe unafanya nini? Wewe unafanya nini? Ninajuaje si labda ni bwana huyo mama.
Nasikia huyu mzee ni mpishi huko.
Sasa na hiyo chakula yote siende ula.
Kwa sababu wajua vile nyinyi hufanya watu. Mshtaki wa pili una swali?
Hii mbegu mbaya hii.
Uliza swali. Lazima usikie huzuni maana sasa kuku hutakula.
Sasa ukienda ndani kuku hakuna.
Kwa majina ni Gift Achim na Stingomongo. Na nilianza boxing 2019.
I know it's a confusing name, right? But it is a fish, a squid, who looks like a pig. And he is quite tiny, like a piglet. And that's why he is called Squiglet Pig.
I'm going to show you guys how to make the yummiest spiced Kenyan tea at the comfort of your home.
I'm going to teach you how to make a hot sun catcher.
How do you say welcome in your language?
No. So today we're making egusi soup with goat's meat.
As we allow our egusi to boil, you said it's going to take about 5 minutes and it's looking so good. I love the color from the palm oil.
We're practically done with mixing it.
Right. Eunice, thank you so much for coming all the way and teaching us how to make egusi soup, the traditional Igbo way. I love it.
Welcome back to the program. This is Good Morning Kenya. Thank you for choosing us to start off your morning. Now, we know that the Ethiopian Prime Minister is in the country on a state visit, and we should be expecting a link from State House any minute from 9 a.m. But before that, I have engineers in studio with me today. I'm privileged to host two engineers in studio today as we gear up to the celebrations that is World Engineers Day, that is supposed to be celebrated, or rather it is normally celebrated every 4th of March each year since the year 2020. And joining me in studio to talk about that particular day and what is expected on that day, I have engineer Dr. John Johnson Matu, and he is the Director Engineers Board of Kenya. And we also have Engineer Grace Kagondu. She is the first Vice President, the Institution of Engineers of Kenya. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very
much. We
much.
are pleased to have you here. If we may just begin by you telling us a bit about the Engineers Board of Kenya, and also Engineer Grace about the Institution of Engineers of Kenya. Let's begin with the lady.
Thank you very much. I'm very delighted to be here on the studio at KBC. Good morning, Kenya. So thank you very much for having us. And I also want to appreciate Engineers Board of Kenya, represented here by Engineer Johnson Matu, for organizing this particular opportunity at KBC. Thank you very much. Now about IEK, the IEK is a members association, and we were established in 1972. So we have grown in numbers. Basically, we have got engineering students as part of our membership. We have various practitioners. We have got technicians, engineering technologists, and all kinds of engineering practitioners within our membership. And right now, our membership is about over 11,000 members, comprising of agriculture engineers. Let me start with agriculture engineers because that is where our food comes from. Yes. So we have got automotive and aeronautical engineers as part of our membership. We have medical engineers, a very new line of engineering that is coming up in the country. We already have them on board in our membership. We have the traditional civil engineers, all the various disciplines of civil engineering. In our membership, we have got electrical engineers, we have got mechanical engineers, and we also have got a lot of engineers from academia within our membership. So our membership really is very inclusive in terms of the membership that we have. We have got technicians, we have technologists in the engineering space. And our vision is engineering a sustainable world, because we recognize that engineers have a very important role to play in society. So we come together to form that welfare association, so that as we are serving the society, we are also taking care of our needs as engineers, our unique needs, our unique challenges. We are also able to network and gather around and find a solution, sustainable solutions for the members. And I can tell you that we are also interested in very many local issues. We are also affiliated with global issues. I'll talk about the climate change issues. Those are issues we discuss on a day-to-day basis, the way the world is moving on. So we are affiliated to the global body of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. So I'll be talking about later on about the celebrations that are coming up. We are working in partnership with those global associations. We are also affiliated with the Federation of African Engineering Organizations. So you can see we are affiliated both globally and also locally. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Matu.
Maybe just one more thing I can proudly announce also that IEK now we are spread all over the country. We have got branches across Kenya, 8 branches across Kenya. We have got a branch in Coast, a capital branch within Nairobi. We have got a Western branch. We have got Northeastern branch, and we have got, did I mention Western branch? Yes, and we have got in total 8 branches spread all over the country. So our engineers are everywhere, and they are our members.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very
for
much.
That. Dr. Matu.
Thank you, Vivian. We do appreciate this interview today and the collaboration that we have had with KBC. They have given us a good platform for visibility, because I believe out there not many people understand the role of engineers. And therefore this is a very good opportunity, and we hope that it can continue. The mandate of Engineers Board of Kenya basically is to register all engineers in Kenya, right from those coming from the university up to those who have been registered and within the various disciplines. We also register firms, consult engineering firms, and we also look at the programs which are being taught at the universities, so we ensure that the programs are adequate and are approvable, globally. And therefore, ours is to ensure that we ensure that the education that is happening at the university, even at the other TVETs are being done in a way that it will produce a quality engineer.
Okay.
We also ensure that we regulate the engineering work that is being done out there. That means we can enter into any construction which is going on. We can enter in any factory that is producing items and inspect the works that they are doing to ensure that it's being done by registered and recognized engineers by the board.
All right.
So basically, these are some of the issues that we handle.
You handle
yes.
at the Engineers Board of Kenya.
Yes.
All right. Now that aside, what do engineers do? You know, this seems like a very obvious question, but it's really a good one for the conversation that we are having today. So what do engineers do?
Actually, it's pretty much everything.
Yes.
Even starting from where we are now. That the cameras that you have there's a huge input by engineers to make sure that this program can be watched out there by the people. The lighting that you have here,
yeah.
When you are coming from home, even where you live, the shelter itself, engineers are involved in the construction of that particular shelter. When you come out of your house and you are driving, the car that you come in, whether it's a matatu, a bus, or your own car, engineers are there in the assembly line and ensuring that it is safe for you to be on it. The road that you go into, that road is designed, is constructed with a big input of engineers.
Yeah.
Okay? Then where you are going, maybe it's an office, maybe it's a factory, all that is actually prepared and there's a huge input by the engineers.
Okay.
And therefore, they are pretty much everywhere. And basically, the engineer is supposed to be, or has always been, the one who looks for solutions to any challenges that mankind is facing. Whether it's a climate issue, okay? Whether you need any shelter, whatever you need, whether it is water, sanitation, whether you need energy in your homes, all these things are being done by engineers.
All right.
Yeah, that's where they come in a very strong way.
Yeah.
That means you interact with an engineer every day.
On a day-to-day
On a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Only that perhaps you may not recognize it. Yes.
Now, how has engineering changed over the years, and maybe what new formats have been introduced or technologies that you are using now that previously weren't there?
That's a brilliant question. For sure, engineering has been changing and evolving at a very exponential rate in tandem with technology. Let me start with the cameras that you have here, for instance.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, it was not, they were in black and white. You do remember that the TVs were black and white not long ago. KBC, Voice of Kenya. And everything was black and white. Today, we are able to enjoy color TV. That is the input of engineering, and that is borrowing from the technology that has been advancing over the years. Once upon a time, movement was by horse carriageways. Today, we are moving with vehicles through the work of engineers. We have got aircrafts that are moving at, that can move you from one point to another at a very supersonic speed. That is the work of aeronautical engineers. So I can say that for sure, engineering has been evolving with technology. Engineers are very, very fast to adopt technology to embrace and to enhance the solutions that they're providing to society. And that is why engineering and technology are actually partners, so to speak, in development. And I want to emphasize now in the practice of engineering, for example. I was very fortunate many years ago that when I started out in college, we left college and the drawings we used to do were manual drawings on a big A4 paper. A1 is a big sheet of paper that we used to draw with a black pen. And those in college will tell you they still do it because they have to learn the basics. Today, when I was in that farm, we were taught that we moved from drawing manually to drawing on computer using software such as AutoCAD. Yeah, so I was very fortunate to be among the pioneers of AutoCAD. And today we have moved ahead. We are talking about other software packages that are on board. I can talk about 3D, Civil 3D, Revit, and many other software packages that engineers have adopted to help in the analysis of the work that they do, and even for the drawings, so that they're able to produce drawings faster, productivity is enhanced, quality is enhanced, and generally they're able to be more detailed in the way that they do their work. And that also goes to even supervision and construction. They're able to collaborate on platforms driven by technology. So engineering has really, really evolved to a very large extent, and we are proud as IEK to be participants in driving members to be on top of these technologies, so that they can continue to be relevant in the world going forward. Now we even have AI, artificial intelligence coming on board, and engineers, I can tell you, are very quick to adopt those technologies so that we can increase our productivity, knowing very well that despite that AI coming on board, our basic skills and training as engineers will always be required, because we have to develop whatever we have designed. Still has to be implemented. We have to provide the oversight to make sure it is implemented the way it has been designed. It has to be safe for use by the society, and at the end of the day, it has to continuously improve. So in a nutshell, engineering is continually evolving, and the engineer, because our minds are very adaptable to change, we are also evolving to suit the needs of technology and the needs of society. In that regard, yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, maybe before I go to my next question, most of the times we view engineering as an area that is very much male-dominated. You know, has it been difficult for you as a woman to maneuver in the field?
Okay. Thank you very much. I am delighted for that opportunity to explain. For sure, when I started my engineering journey many years ago, we were about 5% of the population of engineers at that time. Okay, things have changed dramatically. Today we are talking about almost around 15%, so a growth of about 10% in the last couple of decades or so, 2 decades or so. So I think that I can tell you that the challenge has been difficult. I mean, initially it was very difficult because first of all, you're a minority, and even the male engineers, the partners, are not exactly sure how to handle you. At that particular point in time, because you enter the field and you're very young and you're so eager to learn and you're so enthusiastic, and you know they are not used to the ladies in the environment. But I can say that I think I've been very fortunate to have mentors, along the way. My first employer was I started my career in the private sector. I worked in consulting engineering firms. And I can tell you, my seniors who were there at the time really mentored me in terms of showing me the ropes, the basics of engineering, and even taking me to sites and telling me that, you know, for site, you need to change the way that you dress, for example. It may not work for you to go with a dress, for example, like you need to have trousers, you need to have a helmet, you need to have safety gear, you need to have, you know, proper shoes, safety shoes, and you know, you adjust to it accordingly. So the mentorship is very important, and I must say that other than that unexpectedness on a site, for example, when you're in a site meeting, the first assumption is that you're part of the service team, you know. You're here to provide some service, maybe to take care of the catering, the food. And then when they realize that you're an engineer, then of course they take it in their stride and they embrace you in the profession. So it is usually the first perception, but after that perception is overcome, then you are embraced and you're able to proceed. So things have really moved up, and you can see right now I'm serving as the Vice President of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya. I am a lady. In the Council of IEK, we have got five ladies out of 12. So I think
things are looking up.
Things are looking up, and the gentlemen, we are working very well together. And it's been a wonderful journey all the way.
Engineer Matu, are we encouraging more women to join this field?
In fact, we are doing, we do a lot of encouragement for them, because we believe that they are as much as capable as any other person, any other man. For me, during my time in the university, there was not a single engineer in our class.
A lady engineer?
No lady engineer at all.
Yeah.
And therefore, it was not good during those days. But I'm happy the way that, lead engineers have come up. And they have come up in a big way.
Yeah.
Where I work as a chairman of my company, I ensure that we have at least about 30% of our engineers are lady women.
All right.
Are ladies, lead engineers. And therefore, it is something that needs to be encouraged. And we have seen they are very serious in their work.
Yeah.
And, they are quite reliable.
They
I
get
can
the
assure
job
you.
done.
They get the job done.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Engineer Matu, okay, to you.
Yeah.
How are engineers, or maybe how can engineers contribute to sustainable development?
Yeah, engineers usually contribute to sustainable development in many ways. In that the designs that they do make do answer certain solutions that are needed by mankind. And when they are designing, they must ensure that the project they are designing has a welfare in mind for the mankind. They must make sure that safety aspects of it is assured. They must make sure that environmentally that project does not have adverse impacts. And socially, it must be acceptable to the people that you are designing for. And it must also be economically possible to do it. In terms of cost, it must be economically viable. And to ensure that at least the government can afford it, and the users do not have to use a lot of money to use that particular service. So it's quite good that the engineer must ensure that whatever project they're doing is sustainable, to ensure that we have sustainable development in the country.
All right.
Yeah.
To you, Engineer Grace, the 4th is when you'll be celebrating the big day. That is World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development. Maybe what was the need for this particular day to be set aside for this, knowing that it was set aside just the other day in the year 2020? So what was the need for that?
Right. I want to believe because it was proclaimed by UNESCO. UNESCO is very concerned about matters of the environment and social and cultural development. So they did recognize that the role that engineers play needs to be celebrated. And so the World Engineering Day was therefore proclaimed the 4th of March as the day when we shall be recognizing the contribution of engineers to society, the contribution of engineering to society. And that is why they proclaimed the 4th of March as the World Engineering Day. And for us, as engineers in Kenya, as I mentioned, we are affiliated, of course, to the rest of the world. And we also join the rest of the world in celebrating the World Engineering Day on 4th of March, in this case on Monday next week. But the way that we are going to celebrate it is by, for us, we are going to have a series of events leading up to that particular World Engineering Day. As Engineer Matu, my senior, has explained, engineers are in all facets of society, but the challenge is they work quietly behind the scenes. You don't even appreciate it. It's very subtle. The cameraman here, you cannot see him, but developing that camera took eons of thinking and analysis. We are enjoying lighting here, very brilliant lights all over the room. I can see the cameras, the dazzling. Even the setup, I'm sure, even the angles, I can see the angles are very precise. That is the work of an engineer. We came here, this building is very safe. We can do our business here knowing that the building is safe because of the work of an engineer. But you cannot see the engineer. He did the work, it is standing, and he has moved on to do other developments. We came on roads which are designed by engineers. We rode in cars which we trusted will deliver us from point A to point B. There's no engineer, it's a vehicle that we're using. So you see, in the process, you can easily forget the mind that did all this work. And that is why we have to set aside a day that we celebrate what engineers do. And let me also mention the aeronautical engineer, because now we move from one distance to another, very many kilometers. There's no engineer there. You're enjoying your flight. You can complain about, oh, the tea is hot, the tea is not cold. But you forget that you're already enjoying an engineering marvel.
Yeah.
We have, what do you call them? The ones going to space. Yeah, the satellites and all that.
Yeah.
You know, they're moving to space. That's engineering marvel, you know. We have submarines. We have got, okay, now back to the basics. We go back to the kitchen. That simple machine that you use for blending your juice in the morning, okay? That micro oven that you use to warm up your meal, that's all engineering. But there's no engineer. You can easily forget the brains behind it. And that is why we need to have a day that we celebrate engineers and the contribution of engineers to society, making the quality of our lives much better, improving the quality of our lives. We no longer have to shower with cold water. You can enjoy a warm bath. And not only that, you can even have a jacuzzi with the pressure from engineering input. So the quality of life has been so much improved by engineers, and it is well worth it that the world celebrates with us our achievements and our contribution. Yeah.
Yes, all right, maybe how will Kenya be marking it?
Okay.
As you also add on to that, you can also let us know how, as Kenyan engineers, how you will be marking that day on the 4th.
Yeah, I think one way of doing it is coming together, all of us as engineers, from Institution of Engineers of Kenya, from the Association of Consulting Engineers of Kenya, and Engineers Board of Kenya, to come together and have a way of matching, maybe within the city or within the towns, where the Engineer Kagondo has said, where we have branches, so that people can actually try to understand who the engineers are. You know, they will be asking what is happening, but at least we'll show that we are the engineers. We shall have placards, something of that nature. And also we want to use it, to make sure that the public understands how engineering and even the technology itself are central to our own lives. We want to ensure, and this is part of the whole thing now. Even you have given us a platform, so this is going to help us to ensure that we are seen. And I wanted just to add that this particular Engineers Day, it is basically to promote our career, and we want to show people how it changes the world and how it can change the world. Even what Engineer Grace has said. And that particular day, we want to engage with government, and we want to engage also with the industry itself, to ensure that some policies that promote engineering are put in place, to ensure that engineering can grow, because we want to ensure that we grow our capacity and ensure that that capacity is of high quality capacity. And we can only do it through the government itself, the government machinery. So this is one way whereby we want to be seen. We want to tell the government, these are our problems, our challenges. Yes, we have done so much so far, but there are some various challenges that we are experiencing. Yes.
Where exactly will it be happening, and is every engineer from the country invited?
I think let me just add on to the issue of the World Engineering Day. We have got the 4th of March, which is the day that we celebrate World Engineering Day. But as my senior here has explained, we have a number of activities leading up to that day to mark the day. So on the 1st of March, which is on the Friday, and also on 2nd of March, which is Saturday, the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, the IEK, working closely with our partners in the government, Engineers Board of Kenya, we are going to have an open day with engineers. And the purpose of this day is that we want to engage with the public. The same way you asked me we asked us this morning, what exactly do engineers do? So we want an opportunity to engage with the Wanjiku, the Otieno, the man on the street, explain to them how do engineers impact on their lives, so that we can have that interaction. We are not seen as an elite group of professionals out there, but we are actually available. We'll tell them how they can meet our services, how we can partner and improve society together. Because remember, when we see buildings collapsing, when we see homes being flooded, when we see society having challenges, we can at least be able to tell them that you don't have to go through these challenges. We are here to provide the solutions. And this is where, how do we identify a bona fide engineer? Because today, anybody wearing an overall or a white coat can say, well, I'm an engineer. How do you identify the engineer who will solve your problem? We have electrical, civil, mechanical, all these disciplines I talked about. Who is the engineer for your particular problem that you want to be solved? So we want to have that interaction on the 1st and 2nd of March. And we are requesting the public to look for us, to look out for us at Aga Khan Walk, which is outside the former Uchumi supermarket, outside Aga Khan Walk. That is where we shall pitch our tents, and we shall be free to interact with all members of the public, to ask questions, interact with us, and we'll be able to engage very, very well. And then, in addition to that, on the World Engineering Day itself, which is on the 4th of March, we shall now have the main event, which will be a procession, as highlighted by Engineer Matu here. We shall have a procession that will culminate in Daystar University. Daystar University is where we shall also have now the main plenary activities, where we shall be graced by our guests, special guests from government representatives. We do expect that our CS or his representative, the PS, will also be there, and we shall be able to interact with government as it were. Not to forget the branches. I mentioned we have got 8 branches. All our 8 branches, I tell you, they are really gearing up with activities that will take place on the ground. We have got industrial visits that have been organized by North Rift. They're going to go all the way to Turkana, or the far end of Kenya, to do mentorship talks, to do site visits at the Takwel Gorge project. And Coast Branch will be doing a beach cleanup, for example, to mark the day. So we have our branches really gearing up to showcase to the world that engineers are here. We can work together and make the world a better place, a more sustainable world. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. On that note, we'll take a short break, but we'll be back to continue with this conversation. And also remember, while I was starting this interview, I mentioned that we are expecting a live link anytime from 9 a.m. from State House, as we have the Prime Minister, the Ethiopian Prime Minister rather, visiting. You know, he is here on a state visit. So we'll be having a live link from there any moment from now. You can see they are almost ready to kickstart the particular conversation that she'll be having over there. Right now, we take a short break. We'll be back in a bit.
Baby, when we first met, I never felt something so strong. You were like my lover and my best friend. Listen, we'll never make it, but just let us moving on. Only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go.
Oh, my queen.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out. Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani. Sisi wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tukapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow.
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Baby, when we first met, I never felt something so strong. You were like my lover and my best friend. Listen, I'm moving.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out. Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani. Sisi wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tukapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow.
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for staying with us. Before we took that break, Engineer Matu and Engineer Grace had just talked in depth on what to expect on the 4th of March as they get to celebrate World Engineers Day for Sustainable Development. But there's yet another convention that is should be coming up in May. If you can just tell me a bit about it.
Yes, we shall be having the 5th Engineering Partnership Convention that is prepared by Engineers Board of Kenya. The venue will be at Dedan Kimathi University of Technology. The date will be between 7th and 10th May 2024. And the theme is Engineering at 60, because we want to celebrate what achievement we have had, and therefore we shall have reflections on what has been done in the past. And we shall also have to respond to know with what the challenges that we have, the global challenges that we have. We shall need to come up with the solutions on how to respond to them. And then also we shall do the resetting so that we can know how to handle issues in the future. That is, and it will be attended by engineers from all walks of life, all disciplines, scientists who also are part of, who help us in technology. It will also be attended by innovators, those people who have been inventing many other things that help the industry. Then we shall also have the academicians as well, and also many other stakeholders who will be interested to come, especially coming from the industry itself. And we are expecting about 2,000 delegates or more coming from both local and foreign. And therefore, we shall need to cater for all that.
Yeah.
And because it will be Nyeri, what we want to just appeal to the people of Nyeri is then to ensure that there is adequate accommodation, because now we have decided to move into the counties. These conventions now will be going into various counties.
Also, you're working on going
around the country.
Counties. So why Nyeri maybe this time?
Well, it was just something that we thought that because we have had some in Naivasha, that is the Rift Valley, we need to start going maybe now to Central. Then the next time...
Okay, I have to cut you short, Engineer Matu. The President is ready. If we'll just go direct to that live link happening in State House right now.
My opportunity has gone. Lakini bado hajaanza.
Yes. They are getting ready for that particular conversation that is supposed to be happening there. We know that the Ethiopian Prime Minister is in the country and he is here for his first state visit since President William Ruto took office. And he was received yesterday by his host president yesterday at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And the Prime Minister was last in Kenya in December. On the 9th of December, actually, in the year 2020, he was here on an official visit that was for the launch of the one-step border post at Moyale, in Marsabit. And he is back in the country for his first state visit since President William Ruto took office. As we can see, there's activities happening right there, and we should be expecting the president to be addressing the nation any moment from now. Is live from State House, and the president is expected to be addressing the nation any moment from now. The Ethiopian Prime Minister is in the country, and the Ethiopian Prime Minister is in the country for a state visit. It is his first state visit, as I had mentioned earlier, since President William Ruto took office. As you can see, he's already arrived. He's being received right there by the President and the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya.
Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia arriving in the country. This is not the first time he's in the country. He's been here before at the reign of President Uhuru Kenyatta, but this is the first state visit under President William Ruto. He was here in September 20. He was here in the year 2022, September of course, for the swearing in of President William Ruto. And the bilateral relations, the friendly relations between the two nations have existed for more than 60 years. And you will remember, for any Kenyan to access Ethiopia, you don't need a visa. And that is an arrangement that has been there for so many years. Of course, a deal signed between Kenya and in the reign of Jomo Kenyatta and the Ethiopian leader then, Haile Selassie. And Abiy Ahmed's, coming to Kenya is quite significant because of the brotherly relations that have existed between the two nations. We are neighbors to the north, and security relations and trade relations have existed for so long. So Abiy Ahmed is not only in the country to cement the relations between the brotherly nations of Kenya and Ethiopia, but most importantly, he's here, first of all, to cement the trade deals and the trade relations between the two nations. And you will remember just last week, the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi was in Ethiopia for the Joint Ministerial Commission to just follow up on some of the things that both countries are doing. And there you see the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, as well as the Transport Minister Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen. So the visit is quite significant on the aspect of the relations between the two nations. You will remember that Ethiopia really is banking on Kenya, particularly on its import and export volumes to other nations. And the intention here really being using the LAPSET project. There's a highway that goes all the way through Moyale, as has been mentioned. And then the Lamu port, really, Ethiopia will be transmitting volumes. and being in Kenya for the second time under President William Ruto. You remember he was here during the inauguration of President William Ruto. But then this is his state visit to the Republic. And you remember last week there are several deals that were signed between Kenya as part of a joint ministerial commission bordering on trade, issues of tourism and wildlife, the blue economy. And to access the sea, Ethiopia really needs the Republic of Kenya, particularly through the Lamu port. And these are some of the deals that you expect to be signed inside here. So after the dismissal of the parade, the President and the Prime Minister, together with the delegations, will retreat for bilaterals. It's not something you really expect to stay for so long, owing to the fact that there was a joint ministerial commission last week. So today is just polishing up and, familiarization, and then the signing, and then the two leaders will join us out here for a joint press conference between the President and the Prime Minister. Addis Ababa and Nairobi have had diplomatic relations that have existed since independence. And to cement that relationship is that requirement for visa, that no Kenyan requires a visa to enter into Ethiopia, nor does an Ethiopian need a visa to access Kenya. In fact, as late as a few weeks ago, Ethiopia was exempted from the new requirements for anybody visiting Kenya, the visa-free entry, where you just fill the electronic traveler requirement. Ethiopia was exempted from it, owing to the relationship that Nairobi has had with Addis Ababa. President William Ruto introducing his ministers to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, up to the Deputy Chief of Staff, that is Josephat Nanok, and then the Prime Minister of Ethiopia will have the moment now to introduce his delegation. And you can see the First Ladies of both nations in town, First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto and the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. Like I have said, in instances where we have had special occasions in the country, the President William Ruto has been able to invite Ethiopia. In most cases, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has deployed the President of Ethiopia, Saleh Zodi, for functions. So since the inauguration of President William Ruto in September of 2022, this is the first visit, then you would say perfectly so, for Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to be in the Republic. So there are two reasons that bring Abiy Ahmed to Nairobi. One is cementing the brotherly relations between the two nations that have existed for so long, and number two, to follow up on that joint ministerial commission and the agreements really that were arrived in Addis Ababa last week. The Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi did not wind up the cabinet retreat. Rather, he went to Ethiopia for that joint ministerial commission. So what we expect right now, before I hand you back to studio, is that both leaders are going to have a tete-a-tete, and then polishing up on some of those relations, bilateral relations signed last week, and then the two of them will address us later, and we'll be bringing you the event live. For now, let me hand you back to the studio for the continuation of the Good Morning Kenya.
All right, as you have heard, they are going to be signing the bilateral relations that had happened last week. They will be signing that, and the two leaders in no time will have a joint conference, and I'm sure we will be taking you back to that when they are ready with that. Remember that Kenya and Ethiopia share a 60-year-old historical defense agreement rooted in the friendship between former President of the Republic of Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta, and the Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie. Now, this state visit offers new opportunity to explore new avenues of collaboration in the region. Now, this is where we end Good Morning Kenya for today. For Engineer Matu and Engineer Grace, I think we'll plan for you guys to come back so that we can wind up on this conversation that we didn't get to finish up on. So I hope we'll have you back soon, you know. All right. Thank you so much for watching Good Morning Kenya. Until tomorrow, take care of yourselves and goodbye.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out. Who's the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani.
Zile wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1. We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, I am getting you loud and clear.
You will not believe your eyes when you see her. She is very masubu.
The only time that I cry and fight my tears is when I peel an onion.
When you want my hand to jump out of my chest.
Don't worry, Kamene. I can always hold your heart whenever it decides to jump out of your chest.
Miyane, kwani wana moyo kwa mkono yako is?
Yay! Shots fired!
My favorite faces. How are you all today?
Classmates.
No. Marcelo, I have so many things to tell you as well.
Maybe something is indeed happening. I've been feeling for some time now that Marcelo is keeping things from me. important things that he doesn't want me to find out.
Such as what?
You can't help me. I did something stupid. Really stupid. The only thing I can do now is to pray to the Almighty and face the consequences.
What are you hinting at, Alonso? What? I have some witnesses. I was in the factory when that woman died, I'm sure.
I never mentioned what time Trini died.
Baby, when we first met, I never felt something so strong. You were like my lover and my best friend. Listen, we'll never make it, but just look us moving on. Only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go.
The woman of my dream, my queen.